Netcasts you love.
From people you trust.
This is TWiT.
That's right. It's time for the Untitled Fitness Show. We don't have a name for this program. I'm Iyaz Akhtar, and we've got Brian Brushwood in a box.
Yeah, dude. I don't know how you pulled off that wizardry, but that was an amazing title sequence that got me pumped and excited, and I was kind of like weirded out. I'm like, hey, man, that's my run from the other day, which means you've been stalking me. Good job,
right.
Iyaz.
You know, I was thinking, you know, I will explain why I wanted to do a fitness tech show about myself first and then Schwood. I know you're like a super athlete, a triathlon. If you follow Schwood on Instagram, that's how I knew he was running around doing a 100-mile bike run. Let's get to that in a second.
Yeah.
Now, myself, I was a very, very fat kid. I was about 180 pounds and about 4'9". So if you think about that, that's pretty freaking heavy. So
Yeah.
I'm about 187 pounds right now, and I'm 5'10". So I'm still a little heavy, but
Yeah.
I've constantly been looking at this. My cholesterol level was really high as a teenager, constantly trying to make sure that I'm fit. And now there's been a huge explosion in fitness technology. So I'm like, okay, what kind of things do I want to keep track of? I've got the Fitbit-related scale, the Aria, at home, and that tracks my weight. And if you saw in the intro video, Fitbit, that's my weight being steady and then dropping. I finally got to minus 5 pounds. Schwood.
I'll tell you what you're getting at is you're getting at the fact that finally, as grown-ups who grew up in, you know, the console video game era, we're finally playing our health like a video game because we have metrics, we have scores, we know what it takes to get things done. I use the Why Things scale that automatically syncs up with the Lose It app. So I keep track on that. Right now, I am close to the heaviest I've ever been. I was a scrawny kid, like not just thin, like I looked like there was something wrong with me, and I'm about 8 pounds heavier than I'd like to be right now. I'm at 150. My target weight is 142, and I'm shorter than you. So it's like I'm 5'7". So it's tough, but that's what is so exciting about this experiment is we are going to explore all of the tactics, the tricks, the tech-related ways to get fit, get motivated, get out there, kick some ass. And we're going to keep it short and fast. So why don't you just kick us up to the first story?
Let's go to it. We're going to tell you about news. What I'm going to suggest is if you're listening to this show and you've downloaded it somehow, or you will listen to it to YouTube, this is like your warm-up buddy. So we're going to talk for a little bit amount of time. You're going to be stretching. You're going to be exercising in a couple of minutes. Then you'll fire yourself up. Let's talk a little bit about some of the news that's out this week. There's a new Jawbone Up. It's the Jawbone Up 24. And what it is, it finally does Bluetooth syncing. Now, if you've ever had a Jawbone device, there's been some issues when it comes to durability of the device, but it's one of the earliest and somewhat fashionable fitness trackers you can find. This one finally syncs via Bluetooth, so you don't have to constantly take the device off, plug it into the headphone jack, and then sync it up. And that seemed to be a real downside to this.
Now, did you have the original Jawbone Up?
No, my girlfriend had the thing, and it kept breaking, but she kept forgetting to charge the thing.
Right, I got in like there's the initial ones came out. They had a lot of problems with it breaking, like you commented on, and then they did a second round. They actually stopped selling them briefly. I got the one after they rebuilt everything, but that extra moment of taking off the Jawbone Up, plugging it in, and manually syncing was enough to just totally kill my desire to use it. And it's still, like, I used it for about a month and a half. I will say this, the Jawbone Up interface is gorgeous. The way it represents your sleep schedule is awesome, and the way it breaks down, you know, all the motivating factor, I think is really, really good. In general, though, like, it was really frustrating to have so many different things that the Jawbone wouldn't count. Stuff like riding a stationary bike, that kind of thing. And that's not changed. But the fact that it adds Bluetooth capability, I think, is a really big thing. But to be honest, I kind of feel like, obviously, you know, the photo that you see of it right here is with an iOS device. the fact that the new iPhone has a secondary processor whose stated intention is to track all of your movements at all times sort of kills it for me. Because, like, if I'm going on a run, what's the point of taking a bracelet that will only be redundant compared to what my iOS device is doing?
Well, I would think the point is so you don't destroy that beautiful iPhone or whatever device. But the thing right now, still iOS only. There's a new app, 3.0, it's up 3.0. It's giving you a lot more suggestions, giving you these goals to have. Like today, I will walk 50 steps or something, as something like that. These actual ascertainable goals. So while there is that M7 chip in the iPhone 5S, if you have the latest one, or I guess if you're running around with the iPad or the iPad mini, you could have that. But if you don't have those actual newest devices, for 150 bucks, I've always been curious about the Jawbone. I think this might get me to try it out for real. But you're right, it doesn't do a lot of, it doesn't distinguish about your activities. And that's why I'm really excited about Xbox One Fitness.
All right, now this is huge because number one, the capability. Like when the Kinect came out, I was really excited to try a bunch of the the various healthy activities. I did the dancing game. I'm ashamed to admit, and I felt like it was almost where I wanted it to be, but not quite there. Sell me on the idea of what's going to be different with Xbox Fitness.
Okay, so Xbox One Fitness will use the Xbox One and the Kinect camera. It watches you as you exercise. It can tell your heart rate. It can tell you how you're doing on your form. They've got a bunch of partners with Beachbody, so they've got P90X. They've got Insanity, which is a program I'm doing right now. I'm in day 33 of Insanity. It's a 60-day program. And I am just psyched about the idea of competing with people in something that you really couldn't really compete with. If you're talking about what do you bench or how many push-ups you can do, you can have a metric. But when you're talking about, if you look at the video right now, if you're looking at these jumps, if you're doing the Heisman, how many did you do? How was your form? That to me, to gamify actual crazy intense exercises that obviously a wristband won't tell you. What are you doing when you're hitting the ground or doing a burpee? It won't tell you that, but this will actually watch it.
Oh my God. The fact that you, like, everything I was hearing, I was like, yeah, all familiar. But the moment you said compete with your friends,
yeah,
like it was like a lightning bolt just struck. And the first thing I thought was like, I'm gonna kick your ass, IS.
Yes.
I'm gonna have better form than you ever did.
This is exactly part of the show I'm excited about too, because this will whoop my ass. Because there's no way in hell I'm losing to you, Brian. Yes, that's the thing. I'm going to go hard. I'm not going to cheat and have like some video playing and the Kinect's going to do this. We're never going to cheat on this thing. This is full on. We're going to do it. We're going to do a challenge soon. We're not going to cheat on these things. So if we're going to do this, and I would love to do this with folks in the chat room, people watching the show eventually, we could be competing against everybody.
So here's what I'm going to do. On Xbox, my gamer tag is schwood.com, and I follow too many people, and I'm friends with too many people, and I don't even know half of them. I think I'm going to wipe everyone out of my follow list. So if you get dropped, it's not anything personal. I'm just going to redo it. Follow me, not now because it'll say my list is full, but soon. And then we'll go ahead and we'll take this on as soon as we can.
Yeah, we'll open that stuff up soon. I can't wait to. This is the thing that actually got me sold on Xbox One. I know people are like, it's a media box and it doesn't have a video games thing. I'm like, no. You could exercise your brains out, compete with everybody. Also, you could learn to play musical instruments if you want to, something like a rocksmith, with obviously that's available already. But I'm freaking psyched.
People are saying I should open a new account, but wouldn't I have to? I'd have to pay for another Xbox Gold membership if I did that. I think.
They could write in. We don't have an email address, but we've got a hashtag down there, TWiTUFS, for the TWiT Untitled Fitness Show. We're also working on a segment. We're going to do a little teaser for it right now that'll be coming in soon.
I am getting married. There will be thousands of photos. I will look amazing in those photos. I will work out. I will fit in my dress. I am the big, bad bride.
Oh my God, there it is,
the
big bad bride. Snub's joining us. How you doing, Shannon?
I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm well. So what is the commitment that you're making here?
So my goal is to lose about 10 pounds total, and if I replace that with muscle, that's totally fine too. But basically, I need to lose some core weight or core weight as far as like working out my legs and my arms specifically because of my dress. And then I also need to figure out how to work out my core so that I end up having that nice nice stature whenever I'm, you know, up in front of everybody in my family, so I'm not slouching down over in my dress, because that's no fun.
And how long do you have to do it?
I have about 6 months. No, wait, 7 months.
Every day
7 months
counts.
to lose 10 pounds?
Yeah, 7 months. So I have a goal in mind, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to fit into my dress by June of next year, and it's kind of freaking me out, and I've never been the kind of person that works out a whole lot. Like, I'll work out for about 5 days, and then I'm just like, oh, but I really want potato chips.
Are you going to go with our Xbox One Fitness Challenge, or are you going to have your own thing? Are you going to have tips for the audience, too?
I might try that. I've been using the Fitbit application, and I've been wearing the Fitbit. It's charging right now, but
it looks something like that. Yeah.
It looks something like this. So I have been using that a lot, and that helps me keep track of like how much I sleep and how many calories I'm taking in, as well as taking out as well. So it definitely helps out a lot to have an application, but I would like something more, like something that actually gets me into a routine. You know, like a workout show.
So, well, and I guess that's the side benefit right now. This is kind of awesome because we have 3 of us who are all currently dissatisfied with where we are. We have specific goals and target weights that we want to achieve, and starting this journey in public will hopefully keep us committed to it. Now, there's 2 sides to the equation. You know, in the budgeting, there's the burning off of calories, which we've talked about with Fitbit and Jawbone Up and the secondary processor on your iPhone 5S. But then there's also the logging of cataloging all the calories coming in. Are you guys currently tracking all of your calories, and what app do you use?
I'm trying to. It's a real pain in the butt because you have to actually go in there manually every day and make sure that you're tracking things. And I really wish there was an application available that I could just set it up so it says every day I take in 1 cup of cereal with 1 cup of milk. Because I do that every single morning. But you have to actually go in manually every single day and do that with the Fitbit app. So it doesn't really
what about
work out
you,
that well
Iyaz?
for me.
I am absolutely terrible at tracking my calories, so this is going to also be a motivator for me.
Yeah.
I've used Fitbit before. I know that there's this new band that's coming out next year. It claims that it can determine your caloric intake based on the way air is leaving your skin. That sounds insane, but is actually a real technology, apparently. That's coming out next year. That's something I would love to have, but until then, I think Fitbit and logging my food is what I'm going to have to do there. Also, there's a Google Glass fitness app, right?
Yes, apparently. So I will be getting Google Glass this weekend, and I'm hoping that I can download a few applications for that as well. One of the developers actually mentioned to me on Google Plus that he's creating an application that will be releasing soon. I hope that's public. I assume it is because he said
put it
in
on
a
my
comment.
Google Plus post right here. Yeah, I asked folks.
Surprise!
I asked folks on Plus what's their favorite wearable tracker, and Noble Ackerson wrote in to talk about he's building something called XFit for Google Glass. I'm super excited about this.
Yeah, me too. So I'm hoping that I can bring some of my experiences and some of the technology and applications that I've, you know, figured out and discovered throughout this time and bring it to you guys so you can learn a little bit more about how to keep yourselves fit.
So I will make a plug right now. I'm using the Lose It app, and I eventually, after a year of using it standard, I went ahead and upgraded for $50 to get the premium one, which automatically integrates with my Y Things and my Nike Plus running app. What I like about the Fitbit app is, first of all, once you put in your breakfast on there, it adds everything you manually select. It knows you've had before, so you sort of look at, you know, my frequent foods, and you just select like, yeah, I had that. It also has the ability, you press the little button on the barcode, and it switches to camera mode. You hold it up, you just get an image of the barcode, and it automatically logs in the exact accurate information on all of these. I've really enjoyed it. I've been bad about doing it. I've been sort of taking it easy for the last couple of months, but then again, that's why we're doing this show.
And now we're going to do a challenge. Shwood and I, we're going to have a challenge per episode. Maybe we'll have goals towards running eventually, but I'm going to throw out the first challenge today. 100 push-ups. If you have, I'm sure you've heard of 100pushups.com.
I'm out.
Shannon's out. Thank you, Shannon, for coming in for that. 100 push-ups. What we're going to do live on the air right now, we're going to take the initial test, and all it is doing as many good form push-ups as you can. Don't cut corners.
Man, I was not prepared for this. You didn't tell me I'd actually be for
You have
reals
to get on the ground. We're going to do this. Eventually, we want to be able to have challenges that you, the listener or viewer, could do themselves while they're sitting in a chair. But why not be dumb first thing and do some push-ups?
I think it's a great idea. Now, real quick, the 100 push-ups is far and away the more famous of the two push-up programs that we're about to talk about, because basically 100 push-ups is based on starting off small and then growing up over time and getting to the point where you're able to drop into 100 push-ups. However, before I ever heard of 100 push-ups, there was an article in a Men's Health magazine from over a decade ago with a program that was called the Evil Russian Push-Up Regime. And it was basically a guy that came up with a regimen where you would start by testing your max. You would sit down on Monday morning, you would do a maximum number of push-ups, and then whatever that number was, you would do a percentage of that number every hour on the hour for the rest of the day. The next day, you would do 50% of your max. Then the next day, you would do 60% of your max every 45 minutes. And then you would have an easy day where you do 25% of your max for 60 minutes, and so on. If you just do a search on Google for Evil Russian Push-Up Program, you'll find the article in the Men's Health forums. I have had a lot of success with this. Now, one of the things about this program is that it does not actually make you stronger. If you want to get stronger, what you have to do is max out and bench press, to your limit so that you tear down those fibers and get stronger. What this does is by doing low difficulty, high repetitions, it does expand your chest, though. And number one, it makes you very good at push-ups. Number two, you get that kind of and this is how stupid I am of science, but you get some kind of fibers. All I know is that your chest expands by 1 to 2 inches in 2 weeks doing this program. So to make things interesting, Iyaz,
yes,
I propose that let's go ahead and do our test now.
Yeah.
Figure out what we're gonna get to. We'll both max out. I will take, because I've done it before, the Evil Russian program. What I like about it is the fact that it's regimented, that an alarm goes off, and like Pavlov's dog, you have to drop and do push-ups and so on.
Right.
The only downside to it, I've found, is that you have to be very good about washing your hands, because when you're out in public and you just drop and put your hands on the ground, that's a problem. And then you can follow the 100 push-ups, and we'll see who gets better results when we check back in.
Okay, sounds like a crazy idea. I think I'm going to start wearing gloves if I'm going to start doing your way. Just constantly wearing gloves. I have theatrical gloves for my Halloween costume. I think that'll totally work. Maybe opera gloves. Opera gloves. I think.
All right, so are we dropping and maxing out right now?
I think we should just go for like a minute. What do you think? So either way, because Schwood's like, you're made out of, what, iron and steel, so you could probably go on forever.
Okay, I'll go ahead and drop, and just so you know, like, because I've gone through cycles of getting fat and then getting in shape, I'm in my soft part of my cycle right now.
I'm always in the soft part of my cycle, so
I will be happy if I'm able to do 60. That's the
happy if you could get 60. Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
There's no. I think he already won just by smack talking. But let's get on the ground, people. 2, 3. We need music under this.
Yeah, keep it up.
Well, are you on your knees over there, by the way? You're cropped.
22, 23, 24, 25, 26.
Now I lost count. You. Okay, I lost count. This is not. Okay, I'm just going to keep going until one of us falls. I am not cheating. I am on the floor going in good form until my core is going to give out, and it's going to give out pretty soon.
45, 46.
I thought you were already at 45. He's still going. Still going. What number are you up to? You got a Pebbles?
57.
58. 59.
All right.
59.
That's it. I'm done.
I think I got to
I made it to 60. Wow, man. Okay, no. Woo!
Okay, I was somewhere in the 40s there. You hit 60.
All right, so I did 60.
What gave out for you? My triceps gave out first.
My baseline. For me, I think it was my triceps as well. It's surprisingly not much in the chest. It's the arms. And wow.
Nothing like having a segment after we tire ourselves out. Huh? So, have you worked out this week? Beyond this?
No.
No.
No. Like I just rode my bike to my parents' place a while ago, so that's all I got.
Was that the 100-mile bike ride?
No, that was.
Could you explain why on earth would anybody ever do that? Please tell me why you did over 100-mile bike ride.
Yeah, and what's funny is I didn't realize it. Like I just wanted to do it to say that I'd done it. So my friend Brady came down from Dallas, and we mapped out a route that on paper looked smart. Turns out it wasn't. But it also turns out that we scheduled our bike ride when the Livestrong 100-mile bike ride was. and so like two jerks, we show up and we're like, whatever, we're going to go ride bikes on our own. And we went around a big circle. It was a lot of fun. Weirdly, it's the first time I've done an athletic event like that had lasting effects like on my knees. Like I've noticed, I noticed at the end of the day that my knees hurt really bad, which you would expect. But what I didn't expect is that it's been like 2 weeks and I'm still having to take it easy because my left knee still, I could feel it in there. So I don't know how long it'll be till I do something like that.
You're insane. Patrick, you have a story of riding a bicycle over 20 miles, I think it was. Patrick DeHanty, who's running the board right now, who's in the dark.
Yeah, I just decided to go for a bike ride once and rode out and out and out and started to get tired. Then I realized, I gotta go all the way back. Ended up just being, it was only like 13 or 14 miles, so it really wasn't that much compared to 100 miles. Well, okay, but I got back to the house, collapsed on the back porch, and stayed there for, 15 minutes, got back up, and there's a pool of sweat in the shape of my body, which was pretty hilarious.
There's the album art for the show, by the way. Yeah. Just a pool. Patrick's sweat pool.
Keep in mind, the theory is exactly the same, whether it's 13 miles, or 100 miles. 100 miles just means that I had been doing it long enough that I got to the point where I could try something even stupider than going 13 or 20 miles.
All right, so you've been worked out this week. I have worked out a couple of days this week. I have the same freaking routine all the time. I look at motivational fitness images, but I also have this Spotify playlist that I'm going to have a link to if I post it somewhere. But it's my Get Fired Up list, and it always starts with this fire, which was a professional wrestler's theme. I'm going to play this. I hope it's not terribly loud. I hope we don't get pulled down for this, so we'll cut it off in a couple seconds. Thank you.
For the record, this is exactly what I would imagine you would listen to.
This is the music I listened to before I decide to basically kill myself with insanity. Exactly. I sit there on a step, getting fired up, and then sweat for 45 minutes, and then collapse myself.
So for me, look, as a magician, I can tell you flatly that there ain't no magic in the world. But the closest thing that exists to real magic is the power of the written goal. And there's a big difference between having goal. People say all the times, I have goals. It's not a goal till you write it down. Once you write it down, it's a goal. Before you write it down, it's a wish, and wishes don't come true. So last year, I wrote a little blog post about how resolutions are soft, squishy, and stupid. And if you want to make a difference, what you do is you write down hard numbers because, and you post them in places where you know that you'll be forced to see them. I like in the shower, in the bathroom mirror, and then in the office. That way, any little moments of psychological downtime, you remind yourself that you made a promise to yourself, and you go to work solving the mental incongruency between what you said you're going to do and what you're actually up to. So in that regard, like what I usually do is I write down 10 different things I want to achieve. As of right now, of the 10 goals that I set out in 2013, and keep in mind, or at the beginning of 2013, when I wrote them, they sounded preposterous and crazy. And of those, 6 of them have already happened. 3 of them, it's pretty clear there's not a chance in hell I'll be able to hit. And only one of them is still like I'm fighting hard to get caught up. But the best part about writing goals is even if you miss, by however much, it's pretty rad to get there at 90% of the way. And you're better off for having at least tried, for damn sure.
Yeah, so here's the list you put up on Google+, and you put it up on Instagram. You wanted 100,000 Twitter followers, 30,000 Facebook likes, etc. 2 triathlons you've done, I know, at least 1.
Well, so this is the nice thing about when you're the arbiter of your own list, you get to decide where your wiggle room is. And in the case of triathlons, I did 1 Olympic distance triathlon back in May. But in the case of, I had the option to either sign up and do another triathlon or I decided, I was like, well, the 100-mile bike ride, I'm going to count as a triathlon. So there's that. And so that's what I was working on.
That's still pretty dang good. So I think that pretty much wraps it up for us. We don't have a cool tagline yet, do we?
What if you called it AFK? That's a great idea.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God.
No, that's a sign-off, at least. Now that we're done with this, go AFK.